I'm 101 years old. I've played trumpet in rooms full of people who loved me. I've slept on kitchen floors in a house where my own daughter was afraid to wake me up. And I'm going to tell you something nobody in recovery ever wants to admit. You don't get those years back. 20 years I gave to a bottle of whiskey. 20 years. That's somebody's whole childhood. That's exactly what it was. My daughter's. People want the comeback story. They want the part where I put the glass down and everything got better. I'll give you that part. But first I need you to understand what the glass took. Because if I skip that, I'm lying to you. And I'm 101. I don't have enough time left to lie. I kept a bottle of Old Crow in the piano bench for 11 years. Right there under the sheet music. Nobody ever found it because nobody ever opened that bench but me. My name is Walter. I'm 101 years old. And I spent 20 of those years trying to drown inside a whiskey glass. People hear that and they want to skip ahead. They want the part where I got better, the triumph, the redemption arc. But I'm not going to give it to you yet. Because the drowning part, that's where the truth lives. You understand. To make sense of how I ended up pouring bourbon at 9 in the morning while my daughter slept down the hall, you'd have to go back, way back, to a basement in Detroit where a boy with 2 big hands first touched a trumpet. My mother cleaned rooms at the Book Cadillac Hotel, came home smelling like bleach and other people's perfume. My father worked the line at Ford's Rouge plant until his back gave out. Then he didn't work at all. He sat on the porch and listened to the radio and waited for something nobody could name. We lived on Hastings Street. If you know Detroit, you know what that means. If you don't, imagine a place that was poor and alive at the same time. Music came out of every doorway. Blues, gospel, jazz. The sidewalks vibrated with it. I was 9 when my Uncle Clarence put a trumpet in my hands. Old beat-up thing, tarnished brass, a dent near the bell. Didn't matter. The first time I blew a clear note, my whole chest opened up. Like my ribs made room for something that had always been waiting there. I didn't know the word for it then. Purpose. That trumpet gave me a reason to exist that had nothing to do with anybody else's opinion. By 16, I was sitting in with cats twice my age at the clubs on Paradise Valley. They called me Smooth because I never rushed a note. I'd hold back, then land it exactly where it needed to be. Music taught me patience before life did. I met Lorraine in 1949. She was standing by the bar at the Bluebird Inn wearing a yellow dress that made the whole room lean sideways. I walked up and said something stupid. She laughed anyway. That laugh, Lord. Like somebody dropped a handful of pennies on a marble floor. Bright, scattered, impossible to ignore. We married in the spring of '51. I was 26, she was 23. I thought I understood happiness. I didn't. I was just standing at the edge of it, looking in. Those first years together were the closest I've come to holding something perfect. Lorraine sang around the house while she cooked, not performing, just humming and singing to herself. She had a voice like brown sugar melting, sweet, slow, a little bit dark at the edges. I played the clubs at night, came home at 3 in the morning smelling like cigarettes and spilled beer. She'd have a plate wrapped in foil on the stove. Didn't matter what time, that plate was always there. You don't understand what that means until it's gone. A plate of food waiting for you in a quiet kitchen. That's not dinner. That's someone saying, I'm still here, and I'm not tired of you yet. Our daughter Celia came in 1954. I held her in the hospital and my hands were shaking. Not from nerves, from the weight of it. 7 pounds of future sitting in my palms. But here's the thing about being a musician in those years. The money was never right. You'd have a good month, then 3 bad ones. Lorraine took a job at the telephone company to cover what my gigs couldn't. She never said a word about it, never threw it in my face. She just did it. And that generosity, I didn't deserve it. I know that now. I started drinking more around 1960. Not falling down drunk, just a steady hum of whiskey running through the background of every day. A drink before the gig, a drink after, a drink because the landlord raised the rent and I couldn't cover it. Lorraine noticed. She always noticed. She'd say, Walter, you're playing too many sets at that bar. She meant the stool, not the stage. I knew what she meant. I smiled and poured another. Lorraine died on a Tuesday in February of 1966. Stroke. She was 38 years old. I'm not going to describe it. Some things don't belong in words. I'll tell you this much. The last plate she ever made me was meatloaf with mashed potatoes. I found it on the stove the night she went to the hospital. I couldn't eat it, couldn't throw it away. It sat in the refrigerator for 2 weeks until my sister came and cleaned it out. After that, I drank the way a drowning man breathes water, not because he wants to, because there's nothing else left. I played fewer gigs, then no gigs. I sold my best trumpet, a 52 Constellation, for $60 to a pawn shop on Michigan Avenue. $60. That horn was worth 10 times that. Didn't care. I needed the 60. Celia was 12. She learned to make her own breakfast, learned to iron her school clothes, learned to step over her father when he fell asleep on the kitchen floor. A 12-year-old girl shouldn't have to learn those things. You understand. She shouldn't know how to check if a grown man is breathing. The years between 66 and 86, I call them the fog. 20 years. I can give you snapshots. Waking up in a car I didn't recognize, getting fired from a warehouse job for showing up drunk at 7 in the morning, my sister standing in my doorway crying, saying, Lorraine would be ashamed of you. That one landed. It landed and I poured another drink to make it stop landing. I wasn't trying to die. That's what people don't understand about the bottle. I was trying not to feel. There's a difference. Death takes you somewhere. Whiskey keeps you nowhere. And nowhere felt safer than the world without her. The morning that changed everything was March 14th, 1986, a Saturday. I know the exact date because I've counted every day since. I woke up on my bathroom floor. Mouth tasted like pennies and bile. My hands were shaking so hard I couldn't grip the edge of the tub to pull myself up, and Celia was standing in the doorway. She was 32 by then, had her mother's face, her mother's eyes, and those eyes were completely dry. She didn't cry, she didn't yell. She said, "Daddy, I'm pregnant, and I'm not bringing my child into your house unless you're sober. I love you, but I won't let you do to my baby what you did to me." That's the sentence that saved my life. Not the love part, the truth part. What you did to me. 4 words, each one a nail in a coffin I built myself. I checked into a treatment center on 8 Mile Road 3 days later. I shook for a week, saw things that weren't there, heard Lorraine's voice calling me from down a hallway that didn't exist. The doctor said I was lucky my liver still worked. Lucky, there's that word again. I haven't had a drink in 40 years. Sobriety didn't fix me. People think it does. They think you put down the bottle and pick up your life and keep walking. No, you put down the bottle and you stand in the wreckage. You see every board you broke, every wall you knocked through, and you pick up one piece at a time, knowing full well some of it can't be rebuilt. My grandson Marcus was born that August. I held him the way I held Celia, hands shaken. Different reason this time. I was shaken because I was terrified of breaking another person I loved. Celia let me back in slowly. She didn't trust me. I didn't blame her. Trust is like a trumpet valve. Once it sticks, you can oil it, clean it, work it loose, but it never moves quite the same. I started teaching music at a community center on the east side. Kids who reminded me of myself. Big hands, loud neighborhoods, no money. I taught them scales and breath control, and the one lesson that matters more than all the rest. The silence between the notes is where the music lives. I met Dorothy in 1993. She was a widow herself, sang in the church choir, had a laugh that sounded nothing like Lorraine's, deeper, rougher, like gravel under warm water. I didn't fall in love with Dorothy because she replaced Lorraine. I fell in love because she didn't try to. She let Lorraine's ghost sit at the table with us, never once asked me to send her away. We married in '95. I was 70 years old. The pianist at the ceremony played My Funny Valentine, and I cried in front of everybody. Didn't care. When you're 70 and sober and getting a second chance you don't deserve, you cry wherever you want. Dorothy passed in 2018, peacefully, in her sleep, in our bed. I was holding her hand. I've buried 2 wives now. The grief is different each time. Losing Lorraine broke me open. Losing Dorothy broke me gentle. People ask if I've forgiven myself. I say yes. That's the lie I tell to keep the conversation comfortable. The truth is more tangled than that. I forgave the drinking. That was a sickness. I can wrap my head around a sickness. What I haven't forgiven, what I carry in my chest like a stone I swallowed 50 years ago, is the look on a 12-year-old girl's face when she steps over her father's body to get to the kitchen. Celia and I are close now. She's 69, calls me every morning, brings Marcus and his kids over on Sundays. We sit on the porch and I play a little trumpet, just quiet for the grandkids. She's forgiven me in every way a daughter can. But forgiveness from someone else isn't the same as forgiveness from yourself. You understand. It's two different doors. One of them opened a long time ago. The other one, I'm still standing in front of, turning the handle. I'm 101. My hands shake for different reasons now. The trumpet sounds thinner than it used to. The notes wobble, but they still come out. Every morning I play one song before breakfast, just to remind my lungs they've got work to do. Here's what I know. You can waste 20 years and still have a life worth living. You can break people you love and still be loved. You can carry a stone in your chest and still stand up straight. But you got to be honest about the weight. You got to stop pretending the stone isn't there. If you're carrying something heavy right now, a bottle, a grudge, a secret, a grief that won't let go, I'm not going to tell you to put it down. Everybody says that. Put it down, let it go. I don't think it works that way. I think you learn to walk with it. You build the muscle. You keep moving. The bell in that old trumpet of mine has a dent I never fixed. Gives the sound a little wobble, a little waver. My teacher told me once that a perfect tone is boring. The crack is what makes it yours. I think he was talking about more than horns. You understand.